Knock, knock, everybody. Derick Van Ness here, investor, wealth strategist, and life adventurer. And I got a doozy for you today. It may be something you don't want to hear, but I am going to tell you that by the end of this video, you're going to totally understand why I'm saying it's so important to do hard things in your life. You may be thinking, why would I want to do hard things? I want to do the easy things. I want to follow my bliss. I want to do what I'm passionate about. And I get all of that. But here's the deal. A big part of being able to do what you're passionate about and really build a life that you love is doing the hard things along the way. So what do I mean by the hard things, right? I'm not just talking about like getting up early and having to go do your paper route or something that's grinding out at work or any of that. I mean, those things, you have to do them sometimes. But what I'm really talking about here is things that create peak experiences, right? Like I know for me, I don't feel like I always get a chance to like give it my all. I mean, sometimes grinding away at work, helping clients, doing the things like I really love those, but there's a whole lot of paperwork and a lot of other things that I don't love. That's not what I'm talking about with the hard things. What I'm talking about is doing things that push you beyond what you thought you could do. Not things that necessarily grind you down, although it can be that within these, but really things that will give you that peak experience. Climbing a mountain, going to a training that's really going to push you mentally or emotionally. I did a sailing trip that was fantastic where we came from San Francisco all the way down to San Diego. It was 5 days on the ocean. And what was really incredible is we went through around the point of Santa Barbara, and that's one of the most dangerous places to sail in all of North America. Little did I know, right? I'd been sailing a couple of years, but not a whole lot of like ocean sailing. And I mean, we had a night of 40-knot winds, and the waves were like big as buildings all around us going through the Santa Catalina Islands. It was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. And it was literally like navigating a ship through a storm where you can't see anything around you. It was crazy. But in those moments, in those peak experiences where you're pushed all the way to your limits, that's where the growth happens. That's where you see the world differently than you've ever seen it before. Right? And so Benjamin Hardy talks about this a lot in finding a way in your life to create these peak experiences on a regular basis, because they really do cause you to discover and grow in ways that you can't in your ordinary everyday life. Now, this doesn't just need to be like adventures and seminars and personal development stuff, because a lot of people who watch YouTube and follow these kinds of things, they're those kind of junkies, and those things are really valuable. But these can also be taking on things in your life that you really want to take on that matter to you and you know are going to be a ton of work. It could be starting a nonprofit. It could be pushing yourself to take your business to the next level. It could be becoming a parent, right? What I found really profound is when I went and saw Jordan Peterson speak, and he was going through many different things. One of the phrases that he said really stuck with me. And he said, "The path to proper being is through maximum voluntary responsibility." I'll say that again. The path to proper being is through maximum voluntary responsibility. So what does that mean? Let me unpack that a little bit. So the path to proper being is like being your best, right? Being the best version of you, what you would call proper being. And the way to get there is to voluntarily take on as much responsibility as you possibly can, right? And so this idea of taking on responsibility for, I'm going to push myself, choosing to push myself, not being forced. Like there's a really big difference between saying, I want to be a single parent and being forced to be a single parent, right? Those are two different things. One you chose, the other you did not. Now you'll get growth from both, but the experience will be different. So I'm talking about things that you voluntarily do. And this is where so many men these days are signing up to do like Navy SEAL training on the beach or climb a mountain or these kinds of experiences where you're able to push yourself beyond where you've ever gone, because when you dig that deep, you uncover what's really inside of you. Sometimes you like what you find and sometimes you don't, but here's the thing, even when you find what you don't like, you're able to purge that, just like they do and take iron and turn it into steel. They burn out all the impurities. That's what happens when you do these hard things. That's what happens when you voluntarily take on a load that you know is the maximum you can handle, and you still carry it up the hill. At the end of that hill climb, you're stronger physically, but you're also stronger mentally. And these are the kinds of things that I want you to encourage you to do, because all of the most profound breakthroughs in my life have been things that have come through doing hard things, whether it's hours of meditation and having breakthroughs that way, this sailing trip that I went on, trips where I've had to trek many, many miles to the point of breaking. All of these things are things that will help you to grow and change as a person. In those moments of pain, in those moments of agony, in those moments of, I don't know if I can do this anymore, you change. You're never the same. It's like stretching something out. Once you stretch it out, it never goes back to the same shape. That's what happens with your character. And that's what happens with your confidence, because confidence comes from doing things. You can talk about it, you can read about it, you can blog about it, you can do all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, confidence comes from doing, knowing that when push comes to shove, I can handle it. I can do this. And that confidence builds you up and it allows you to go even higher with your next peak experience. So I really want to encourage you, if you want to be successful in life, then you need to find ways to do this on a regular basis and even smaller doses of it. Like honestly, for me, one of them, and I think this is why there's such a high correlation with people who work out, really get into great physical shape and success, is this. When you're in a workout regimen, like I go to this gym every morning, 7 a.m., we work out, and when they post the workout on the board, half the days I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like this is really hard. And then I go and I just put my head down and I roll up my sleeves and I go to work and I do the workout. And at the end of that workout, every single day, I've pushed myself harder than I thought I ever could. I've accomplished more than I realized I could. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And every single day I have that experience of gaining confidence. When the chips are down, when things are hard, I realize the workout's totally different than other life experiences, but it builds that muscle, that strength of knowing that when things are tough, I can do it. I can handle this. And that's what it takes to be successful, whether it's as a parent, as a leader in your church, in your business, whatever it is for you, having that strength and that confidence that I've been through the hardest times and I can do this. I've grinded through the toughest workouts or the most dangerous situations or been up all night for 2 nights in a row because I had to take care of my family or whatever it is. Those experiences give you the confidence. So I really want to encourage you, if you haven't been doing hard things, find A, how can I build hard and scary things into my routine on a regular basis? And B, 3 to 4 times a year, find a way to have those peak experiences. I find that nature is huge for that because you can hike, you can climb, you can sail, swim, run, bike. You can really do those things to the extreme in a somewhat safe environment, but nature doesn't really care. When you're tired, the sun doesn't care. It doesn't stop beating down on you. When you're worn out, it doesn't matter if your bike's got a flat tire or if you're climbing a mountain, if the oxygen's getting thin. If you're going to get to that goal, you have to do it. You have to make it happen. And I think there's just no substitute for putting yourself in those situations because, hey, today's world is so much about comfort. It's so much about pleasure. We are so fortunate in our country to be able to have a hot shower every day and have clothes on our back and have things that make life easy. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it is so much sweeter when you do the difficult things, when you go without, when you struggle through. Choosing to do that on a regular basis, it absolutely makes you appreciate it. It makes you feel like, hey, I can sit back and I can relax and have a glass of wine or whatever you choose with your family or the people that you love, knowing that I did the hard work. I'm growing, I'm pushing, I'm becoming the best that I can be, and if push comes to shove, I can do it again and again and again. So, if you like this kind of content, I encourage you, please like this video, subscribe down below, drop us a comment, say hello if you're a new subscriber. I'd love to welcome you to the channel. But I really want you to understand that success comes from the habits you cultivate, and one of those habits that nobody talks about is doing the hard stuff. Yeah, people talk about grinding, people talk about hustling and all that stuff, but really picking those times, whether it's running a marathon, climbing a mountain, launch for your business, whatever it is, finding those peak experiences where you can push yourself beyond where you ever thought you can go, and you will be completely transformed from those. I know they've changed my life. I want them to change your life. I really appreciate you stopping by. So thanks, and we'll see you on the next video. You can check that one out on the surfer lifestyle, which will give you a little bit of balance on how to look at the ego, the drive, and the relaxation, and being a victim somewhere in the middle. You'll love that one, so check it out here.